at Little Rock Inclusive Center. It's an integrated school for the deaf, the hearing, and different kinds of disability, and even regular children. So it's an inclusive education. This is an integrated school. That means it integrates deaf children with normal children and physically impaired ones. For example, in my class, we have hearing and deaf children. Some of the children are from deaf parents. Hearing children are here to learn sign language so that they can communicate with their brothers and sisters who are deaf. I think it is good to integrate deaf children and hearing ones. Because if deaf children are separated, they will feel isolated. They will feel lonely. If they're integrated, they will feel they are a part of the community. It's also good because when hearing children learn sign language, they can communicate with deaf children, and deaf children feel good when they communicate with hearing people. I support inclusive system. I like inclusive education a lot, but not for secondary and primary, because these are very young children. They can learn early before they move to a different level. When we go for home visits, some parents don't understand why their children are deaf. So they leave their children at home. We advise them it is good to bring their children to school, because the child needs to learn language, because their first language is sign language. I became deaf when I was 10 years old. That was due to meningitis. When I became deaf, my parents didn't know what to do. It was very difficult for them to accept why their child is deaf. But later, they took me to the hospital. The doctor told them that there are many deaf children, and they are normal, just like any other child. My father accepted, but my mother didn't accept. But for many years, it disturbed my mother a lot. Later on, she accepted, and now she feels the deaf and the hearing are equal. And that's okay. After I became deaf, my parents didn't know whether there was a school for deaf. So I continued with regular school where I was before, up to standard 5. Then they later realized there was a school for the deaf. I transferred to Kapsabet School for the deaf. Then I went to St. Angela's Mumias Girls Secondary School for the deaf. Then later I joined regular college. I was the only deaf in that college.
When we started Little Rock, we came in to provide early childhood education to the vulnerable kids of Kibera slum. But in the process, we came across a deaf child who used to bring lunch for the sister. So when we found out from the parents why he's not going to school, they told us they cannot afford to take him to a deaf school. So it found when our head teacher and one of the teachers had done sign language, so we incorporated him into our center. And we went out doing research to find out what is inclusion. So that is how we started our deaf unit. When we incorporated in the deaf children, basically the parents came back complaining that their kids are going to become deaf, which forced us to bring in the parents and explain to them that deafness is a condition. It is not a disease, that the other child will get it.
I like this place of work so much. It was my dream to work in a place like this. In future, I hope to own a school like this so that I can help deaf and hearing children. I would also like to further my studies in the near future. Thank you.